Here is the 2024 GMC Yukon SLE in onyx black with dark slate interior. Next year has confirmed that it's going to get a mild refresh. I'm going to be touching bases on that, some pros and cons, in which will lead me to the problem that I have with the Yukon. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. All Yukons, because this is the SLE, base trim gets standard LED headlights, daytime runnings, fog lights. For 25, we're getting a new C-structure light assembly, a new fog light assembly. The grille will be reconfigured in the lower bumper. So the whole fascia is going to be transformed for the mid-cycle refresh, in which we still have 8 inches of clearance, whether you wait for the 25 or you option this with 3 powertrains. All of which will be the same as a carryover, except the turbo diesel will increase in horsepower and torque. But when you go into the SLE, you only get 2 available options for engines, which you get the Duramax diesel, or what we have, which is the 5.3 Ecotec 3 V8 that produces 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission. This has the dynamic fuel management technology, in which it will deactivate cylinders so you get better fuel economy. You're achieving 15 mpgs for the city, 20 mpgs for the highway. This is 4-wheel drive. Standard wheel is an 18-inch. 20-inch wheel goes to the SLT, and you can option up to a 22-inch wheel. The wheel design will be changed for 25. This has the premium smooth ride suspension, a mechanically limited slip differential, the stability track, and you can option a 6-piston front brake, which when you're in the SLE, I'm not thinking for performance, but if you're needing a smoother ride, you can option the magnetic ride control. It comes standard on the Denali only. 5 model will still have the same GM T1 platform that's in the Arlington plant in Texas. The shark fin antenna will be refreshed because now we'll have 5G capabilities in the rear taillights. They're going to be reconfigured for the C-structure LED style. The lower bumper will be reconfigured. The Denali gets dual exhaust outlets, reverse camera, reverse sensors when you're going into the SLE. The SLT can option 360-degree reverse camera, and the Denali can give you an option for the digital rear view mirror. Quick release going into 25.5 cubic feet. Because it sets up, it's going to have a little bit of a lip, but you have quite a bit of space behind the third row. With the home plug underneath the floor, it gets a little bit of storage, and you can split fold the third row in the back at a 60-40 split. Unfortunately, there is no levers to put the second row down, so to increase to 122.9 cubic feet, you have to just simply pull the lever. It'll fold down flat, and that will maximize the cargo capacity. Ten-way power seat adjustment is standard, with 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. Heated and leather seats start on the SLT trim. This is a cloth upholstery, and memory seats will start on the SLT. Headroom and leg room. The Yukon has a lot of space in the interior because this is a larger third row SUV. You have a storage pocket here for the passenger, a sleeve on both sides. I wish it had full pass-through. Now the 25 is going to have a different infotainment screen in the center. Here is also going to be reconfigured. This is a 10.2 information display with Google Assist, Google Apps, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio with navigation. And you're not going to have the push to pull for 25. It's going to be on the actual steering column. Putting it into reverse, it's a reverse camera, and you can change the layout for towing to make it a little bit easier. The 360-degree reverse camera will be an option on the SLT, and the digital rear view mirror will be on the Denali. But as a base trim, no auto dimming rear view mirror that starts on the SLT. It's going to be a flat dash, which will be reconfigured. It's a wrapped steering wheel. You will not receive leather on the SLE. digital gauge reader that can go through an array of information, including turn-by-turn navigation, and you can change all the different settings on both sides to configure it to make it a little bit easier for your day in and day out use. Tri-climate control is standard. A wireless charger starts on the SLT, 12 volt USB, got a lot of storage here, and the key fob for the Yukon. Another little storage pocket for a larger phone. It's soft to touch, opens up with a tray, 2 more USB ports, and it's a deep storage pocket. The door panel and dashboard configuring together. You're gonna have a lot more buttons right here, and to turn on your lane keep assist. And it's going to be soft to touch pretty much everywhere. 1 touch up and down for the front windows, and 2 tiers of storage. Second, headroom and leg room. Storage behind both of the front seats. Third, climate control, 2 USB, and a home plug will be standard. Cup holders with an armrest. The door is going to have the same configuration, and the 7-speaker Bose sound system starts as an option for the SLT. Same amount of storage, more or less, in the back. And what I've done is move this seat so that way I can actually fit in the back. This is going to be all the way back, which we'll get to in a second. The floor is more or less completely flat, so you're not going to be sharing any feet space, but leg or shoulder space because of the way the seats are. Same thing with headroom, quite a bit of space. Sliding over so you can see the leg room with it all the way back. To enter into the third row, pull the lever up, pull it up again, and now you have quite a bit of space to go inside to the Yukon for 3 more to sit. Cup holders on both sides with a USB and air vents in the ceiling. Putting this down so you can see the actual leg space. If the seat's all the way back and reclined, I'm not going to be able to fit. If it's midway and sitting upright where everybody can sit comfortably, it's not going to be an issue. When you're sitting into the center, the rail here is pushed back, so you'll be playing a little bit with some feet space, but leg and shoulder space is not really an issue. And the same thing for headroom. It's actually quite good for a third row SUV. 5.3 liter Ecotec 3 V8 with 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. It has a smooth suspension. It has good pickup. It feels big, long, wide. The steering has some weight to it, but I like the soft materials on the steering wheel. And when you're considering a base trim, this big of a vehicle, towing up to 8,400 pounds in the 60 grand pricing, it's actually not bad for all the amenities that you're getting. The sweet spot is the SLT, because there you're getting wireless charging pad, leather interior, heated front seats, option for heated second row seats. The Denali just takes it up a notch. It's going to give you the magnetic ride control, which either way you go, it's still a smooth ride. But it will take me to some pros and cons. And I'm gonna start off with the pros, in which you're getting a pretty decent amount of value when you're considering everything in general. There's a lot of space in the cabin. For $25, they are reconfiguring the dash, and you're getting a larger infotainment screen. No more push to pull to put it into gear. That's going to be on the steering column to engage from park, drive, and reverse, which I'm not a huge fan of that. I've got used to the push and pull that's next to the infotainment screen. I like that you're getting standard third climate control, and when you're going into the third row, it's up there with one of the best in class with leg space. Head space, this is better than everybody in its class because of how tall the vehicle is. Another pro is the clearance that you have. Yes, it's only 8 inches, but you feel like you're in a semi-truck in which you can visually see everything all around you. In the base trim, you still have safety features, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and you have to put the seatbelt on in order to engage the vehicle in drive. And that's going to take me to the cons, in which you'll lose towing capabilities when you go all-wheel drive. You're going to lose about 200 pounds. You lose payload capacity. When you're in the base trim, you can't option features to get you to the SLT, which I can understand, because why would you do that when the SLT is just a few grand more? However, it would be nice to at least have an option for the heated front seats. pro is the pickup is good. The ride is good. The big problem that I have, whether you go Chevy, GMC, or Cadillac, all the engines and the suspensions are the same exact configuration. And most of the materials are carryovers between the three, in which when I go into either of the three, I want it to look a little bit more luxurious per trim that I'm going. Because as an example, if I buy a Volkswagen opposed to an Audi, the engine configuration is going to be different. The suspension and the interior components, yes, you're going to have some carryover materials. However, when you're going to these three variants, a lot of it is carryover, in which you can tell when you put them side by side. Now, as a buyer, you're not going to notice this as much, but as a reviewer, these are things that shouldn't be as obvious when you're looking to buy such a big vehicle. The sound deadening is great considering this is a huge box on wheels. And now going back to whether you should consider the 25 model or this one. The 25 model will look night and day different. The only reason why I would personally want to option that is because I'm getting 5G capabilities for the infotainment screen. Otherwise, I like the styling of the Yukon. I think they do a good job, and the materials are soft where it needs to be, which takes me to another pro, that when they integrated the independent rear suspension, it increased cargo to 66% more. So you can see what's happening with each refresh, which may be something that you might want to consider. And going against the Jeep Wagoneer, that's going to be a little bit more tech savvy, but for the 25, they are addressing that issue. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank GMC of Brooksville for giving us this 2024 GMC Yukon for our car review.